What is going on, everyone? This is Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. I am also Director of Research at LeDuc Trading. It is January 21st, 2021. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Share the videos, whatever you can do to support. If you enjoy this content, I will continue to make it for you. Today we're going to be talking about the price action, the indices. We'll go under the hood and check out the sectors and style factors. We'll look at a bunch of the trades that I took, including one really interesting trade. And then we'll wrap up with some options order flow. But before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer. Nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. So let's jump right in. Today was an awesome day for me. As I talked about in the past, two videos, I had been playing for sort of like that gamma roll off, lightened up some positions, added some hedges. That didn't really manifest, even in the slightest bit. So for the past couple of days, I felt like I was not really like in line with the market trend. I was able to right my error and take off one of those hedges yesterday, get myself more long, and then today I was able to execute really well. So this was sort of like a big bounce back, comeback day for me. And one of the things that's important for me is, like I'm doing the investing championship, I'm going to be wrong at certain points in the year. Like say for instance, if that gamma roll off had happened, I would be sitting so pretty, feeling so great that I made the right decision. But the investments game, it's a game of chance. So I felt like there was good evidence to lighten myself up. But then when it didn't, when it didn't go down that way where we didn't get any sell-off, for me it was just important to, okay, that was wrong, jump right back in. So I'm proud of myself that I was able to do that. Let's take a look. That is, just my little soapbox spiel there. So let's jump into these indices. We had S&P 500 up 0.09%. We had the NASDAQ QQQ up 0.8%. We had the IWM small caps down 0.87%. And we had the Dow Jones up 0.03%. So the IWM small caps were our underperformer, and that's the only hedge that I left on the books. So I'm pumped about that. And then the Qs, which we had talked about yesterday, saying, hey, Netflix crushed their earnings. Now everyone's going to look to these other mega cap tech names that have just been basing for 6 months, and they're likely going to allocate into those. So I happen to be positioned really well for that outcome, which manifested today. So definitely a good feeling, especially when you've had a couple of, rougher days where you're not really making much progress. So let's see. Yeah, ES, at this point looks pretty extended, but bullish across all time frames, above all the key moving averages, and above that monthly value area. If we look at the Qs, what we just discussed, and I'm going to pull up my heat map as well. This should be a little bit faster today. Da-da-da. Oh my gosh, I'm so pumped to share this trade I did with you guys. Yeah, so if you can see here, the market breadth overall was pretty poor, but the stocks that matter went up. So what I mean by that is like a couple of these mega cap tech names make up most of the S&P 500, most of the NASDAQ. So all you need is a couple of these names to be rallying, and you're not really going to get a sell-off. So with Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft all up, it's very tough to see any market weakness. That's pretty much what we saw. And yesterday I had positioned in XLK and I had positioned in Apple. So I was in a good spot to take advantage today. Let's see, we have that. In terms of these small caps, this still just looks like a garden variety pullback. Let's pull that up. Just give me one sec. Oh my gosh, TOS. My TOS is going to quit on me, as it always tries to. Let's see. Don't you quit on me, TOS. All right, so TOS is having a senior moment over there. We will start jumping into the first trade that I took today, and this got me off to a great start. So I'm going to wait for the program. So this morning, a headline came out, and I happened to be sitting at the desk, just doing some pre-market prep, between like 7 and 8, and I caught this on the tape. I'm just pulling it up over here. Give me one sec. So I put a team. I just purchased shares of Be Big in pre-market for $5.26 on the following news. You can see here, Musical.ly, TikTok, Triller, and MoviePass innovators unite to create digital media disruption. And right there, you see like a couple of like key buzzwords like Musical.ly, TikTok, Triller, MoviePass. Like, oh, all these things everyone knows about. Like TikTok, that's the future of social media. Like all this stuff. Like, oh, the young people love being on it, blah, blah, blah. So at first pass, this looks like, oh my gosh, what is this? Is this like a huge deal? And I took a look at the market cap on this company and the share structure on it. And I saw there were only 8.34 million shares outstanding. So I figured, this market right now, we're really in a shoot first market where it's like, oh my gosh, it sounds like it could be something big, like buy, buy, buy. And especially you have like a lot of retail players going crazy. So I thought, what, this headline is probably going to be enough to drive a crazy move in the stock. And even when I bought it in the pre-market, it was already up over 200%. This thing closed at like $1.45 yesterday. And in the pre-market, I ended up buying it at like $5.26. When I looked actually at what this deal was, it's just a couple of people that used to be affiliated with these companies, trying to do some sort of startup. And even when I went on the website of the company, it's like Zash or something. It does not even look like a legit website. It's really not that great. But I just knew, hey, this is a crazy headline. There could be a market pump. So I got long shares here at 526, and this thing pumped all the way up to, 947, or let me see, about like 936. So what I did, like I was watching this thing as it moved up, and I just kept moving my stop loss, higher and higher up. And I got taken out of this one for $7.75. So this one ended up being like a 47% gain, pretty quickly. So, yeah, I entered that one at like 8:01, and then, at 10:12 a.m., I moved up my stop on Be Big and was taken out for $7.73, plus 47% gain. So that got me off to just like a really good start in the trading day, because that happened between like 8 a.m. and 10 o'clock. So I was like, all right, we're already going. Like that was just a pretty crazy winner. So I was feeling good. And then in terms of, we were seeing like, let's pull up, that's a good point to bring us to our style factors here. Sectors and style factors. So I'm looking at the markets and I'm seeing, the rotation that we had talked about yesterday, where if you look here, TAN, the solar stocks ended up having a great day, up 5.79%. We are long N phase for that. And that one, had a really good day, saw a bunch of call activity. But that one, I'm just long the common stock, so I'm just hanging on to it. But if you look, one of the best performing sectors today was our XLK ETF. So where the heck is it here? Yeah, so XLK up 1.29%. We also have the semis up 1.45%. But then overall, there was a lot of weakness in the market. So, when you take a look, a lot of red across the screen. Biotech took a hit. Aerospace and defense as well. Transportation. And if we look at these style factors, okay, it looks like we have pasted the same one there. Let's pull it up right here. Yeah, if we look at these style factors today, let's blow this up. You can see the momentum style factor was positive, growth and international momentum. But the cyclicals, really took a turn for the worse today, and high beta. And high beta, you can see, is moving lower on this list in terms of sector and style factor momentum. But yeah, in terms of the XLK, so we had Apple. We talked about the entering calls in Apple yesterday. So you can see Apple ended up having a really strong day. Wow, I didn't even realize it got all the way up to almost 140. But yeah, Apple looks pretty promising here because they have their earnings report next week. It's coming out January 27th. So this one, given what Netflix did, this is just a prime, run into the earnings report candidate right here. So yeah, Apple had a really nice move. I purchased those February calls that did pretty nicely. And then XLK, you can see, had a really nice day also. And I have the June calls for XLK. So those did just fine. Some other names that I entered today. So we had the Apple XLK. Be Big, we already talked about. That was like a day trade. FTCH, Farfetch. This is one that I entered today via common stock. And Farfetch, this one had a really nice run for several months. Just went parabolic, and now we're getting really nice consolidation period. And what I like here is that there was a bit of a shakeout in this stock. So like it's always healthy to see like, oh, okay, we're going sideways, but this thing has drifted lower, for the past month. And even before, it's like, okay, we're drifting a little bit lower, but we're staying above the point of control. Then you can see we wicked out a couple times in that point of control, but then we actually had 2 shakeout days here, followed by then the stock just turning back up. And you can see we closed above that 20-day simple moving average, or really, just on it, essentially. So I'm looking for a breakout in Farfetch. We'll see when it happens. It could be like, a whole nother month before it happens or whatever. I'm willing to be patient in this name, and that's why I'm playing it with the common shares. But definitely, looking for further upside in this one. And then Big C is one that I took in the latter part of the day. Big C finished really strong into the close. So you can see Big C. This name, it's an e-commerce company. Shopify is definitely the leader in this space, but there should be enough room for Big C to compete as well. And this one, it's been, certainly not a fun stock to be long, but it does look like we're getting the base and we just broke into that monthly value area. And you can see we're moving on very high volume. So what I'm looking for is to see if we can get a test of the top of value here at around like $79 per share. So I entered the March 70 strike calls. So we'll see how that goes. I am definitely liking this stock, into the weekend, into next week. So I'm pretty pumped for this one. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this one is well off the highs. Let's see. There were so many stocks that looked like they were setting up. Like Enphase is one that I'm already long. We talked about that in a prior market recap video. I believe I got long on this candle right here. I believe it was this one, yeah. And we're just getting a really nice consolidation. This one has been respecting that 20-day simple moving average for months and months. And now it looks like we might be getting another up leg. And that brings us to our options order flow here. Let's pull that up. Because I am seeing a lot of order flow for Enphase. Let's see. Is it on this one? Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, so if you look for end phase, I'm filtering for the orders $1 million and up, but let me just filter for this one name. Look at all this call activity. I saw similar activity a few weeks ago, and those were like 275 strikes, and I was like, man, that's far out of the money. These are all very similar in that they are positions for, if you look here, this is August, this is May of 2021. So these are more like swing trades. And the strike price on all of these is 320. And end phase is only trading for like 200 and change right now. Yeah, trading for 212. So clearly they see something with this stock. I was actually considering adding to this position into the close, but I took those other trades, so I didn't, double up on my position. Another name that I just thought was super interesting that I was also thinking about adding to, but I didn't want to throw like 10 trades on in the same day. Plug. So FCell reported earnings today. Fuel Cell. They actually missed on their earnings, but the reaction to the miss was really strong. So they were down about 6% on the day at one point. That was like towards the open, and ended up rallying back from a 6% deficit and closed in positive territory, up 3.16%. So that had me looking at this group, and Plug, is a name that I'm familiar with. I already traded it earlier in January. And, we're just seeing this strength, and it's a very similar pattern. So this is another one where I was like, I had to make some tough decisions into the close. I ended up adding Big C. I was really considering adding Plug as well. And then Nanox. Somebody brought this up to me in the room today. Nanox also had, a really strong finish today. And you can see it made a new all-time closing high. So Nanox is definitely one that I have on my watch list for tomorrow. Part of me is thinking that this may actually be the strongest setup. Maybe I should have entered this one, but that's okay. I'll just enter tomorrow, if anything. But yeah, this is a really nice setup here. So we'll have to see. Nanox, every time thus far it's gotten to this level, it's been just a fake out. But this is looking pretty powerful, and it's coming on high volume. So we'll have to see. Now, let's see. Yeah, so there were just so many that looked really strong today. Neo as well looks like it's sort of setting up here. Yeah, you can see Neo announced an equity offering, pulled back, and now we're getting the first green candle. And, we're pretty close to that 20-day simple moving average, so it's not extended. So we're just seeing a lot of really bullish movement here. And sure, like the cyclicals were down, the breadth wasn't great, but for the names that really were moving, we're just seeing a lot of constructive action. So it's tough to, get too bearish on this market here. And let's pull up the other order flow just to see what else we got for today. So we got the end phase, Intel. I believe that one had a move today. I saw people on Twitter talking about Intel. Oh yeah, so Intel also had a nice move. This is definitely a turnaround story here. Yeah, and saw some calls for that one. Uber, we keep seeing these calls. Let me see if Uber actually made a move today. Yeah, so Uber is just pretty quiet. It's down 1.05%. Not really showing much relative strength, but it's coming back to that 20-day simple moving average, and people keep, just assaulting this name with calls. Let's see, we had some call activity for Plug. Yeah, some activity for Neo and some Shopify. So let's see Shopify. Shopify is another one where I think they're a great candidate, for a company that has been pretty quiet for the past couple months, but might make a move, to the upside on earnings. So I'm definitely watching this one. Yeah, looking, not really showing any crazy strength or anything, just riding the 20-day simple moving average. Not really seeing high relative volume on this one either. Yeah, it looks like they're targeting the January. Okay, they're going out to 2022, and they bought the 1800 strike calls. So that's pretty deep out of the money. But yeah, Shop. Surprisingly, Shop is probably one that I'm going to look to add to as well. Yeah, just heading into their print. That about does it for the options activity, and that about does it for this recap video. Hope you all had a great trading day, and I will see you all tomorrow.